Hey guys, Joel here, back for a fourth and final edition of this series about movies about love. And today I'm talking about Punch Drunk Love by Paul Thomas Anderson, which is probably far and away my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. It stars Adam Sandler. Forget Uncut Gems, this will always be my favorite Adam Sandler performance. It's so specific and so delicate. And it's like leans into the characters he usually plays, but in such a grounded, realistic way, and turns them from these caricatures into a very real person. And it's this movie about life being overwhelming and family problems and work and feeling like everything's falling apart, and then suddenly someone stumbles into your life. And I think a lot of this series, I talked about The Fisher King, which was about these weirdos who fall in love, and this like love as an outsider, and Brief Encounter was this longing, and Paris, Texas was this regret. And I think the Punch Drunk Love does something I've never seen a movie do about love, and that's love as a superpower. It's love as this thing that no matter how shitty everything else is going, when you have love, you feel invincible sometimes. And he even says a quote in the movie that I think he says it's his superpower. He says, there's a love in me that makes me so strong you wouldn't believe it, or something like that. And it's this movie that slowly turns into a love story. There's this woman who's around, and then slowly he allows himself to open up to her. And, he's a very closed off individual, and he finds a great peace in spending time with this woman. And it's just so special. It's such a special, strange movie because it's intense. The music is erratic. There's some really like shocking scenes, like when there's a freak out at his like family party that I'm just like, God, that's like, it makes you shake. It makes you like, oh man, like cringe almost. And it's just like such a strange movie, and yet it encompasses this beautiful theme of love being your shield, love being the thing that gets you through everything else. And whenever I revisit it, just like I did with Paris, Texas, because I've seen this movie many times throughout my life, it just hits a little harder and a little better. It's a little better every time, and I already love it. So it's a movie I look forward to watching again, especially. And it's really nice because I feel like Paul Thomas Anderson usually does these big, larger-than-life movies with, set pieces and ensemble cast and a lot going on. And this is so squarely focused on Adam Sandler and so squarely focused on this love that almost saves him. He's such a lost guy. He's such a dissatisfied guy. You see him going about his day, going about his life, and it's just so not what he wants, and he doesn't know what he wants until it comes around. And it's just, it invigorates him. You really see it. It's almost like over the top, but you believe it when like his love drives him to fucking stand up for himself for once, and this love drives him to fucking like be his own person and fucking like stand up to the bullies essentially. And it's so specific what it says about love, and I haven't really seen a movie at least so squarely focused on that aspect of love. I think a lot of movies about love kind of lean towards the negatives more. And there's always negatives, there's always positives, there's always a toss-up, but this movie feels so squarely focused on like love's ability to save you. Save you from what? I don't know. To actually save you, I don't know, but this feeling that it has given you something that without it you'd be weaker, without it you'd be lesser, without it you'd be a little more lost, you'd be stuck back in who you were before you had it, or something like that. And just Adam Sandler really brings that out so strongly. I think it's so special when movies communicate something to you that you've always felt or you have felt, and finally the movie like puts it into words, and you're like, yeah, fucking A. You know, I think music has that power a lot, you know. More and more as I get older, music, I'm like, fucking A. You know, I listen to a great song, I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, you hit the nail on the head. And I think movies carry that power too. And sometimes more specifically than music, I think music's power often lays in its broadness. You could really grasp onto the broader ideas. You like a song can appeal to anyone in any number of ways, and a movie is not dissimilar. But I think a movie can tell you such a specific story and such a specific feeling in such a longer format that like and really interrogate that and interrogate you. And I started this series saying movies as escapism feels like a lame excuse to me, because I think the best thing a movie can do is gaze into you and you gaze into it, and you meet somewhere in the middle in your gaze, and it's something else. I don't know. I don't make enough time for movies. I don't have enough time. I think my work, my social life, and my decompressing time is all I really have right now. And sometimes I wish I could watch more movies, and all it takes is a life change. It's like, hey, some nights don't hang out with friends. Some nights you don't need to work. I'm a bit of a workaholic, but I've been better about it. And when I watch a movie, I'm just like, I hope this movie says something about love. Because that's the coolest thing to make art about. I think it's the most universal, most strange, most inexplicable thing that you could hurl 100 accusations at, you could hurl 100 hugs at, you could hurl 100 dissertations at, and you still wouldn't get to the bottom of it. It's something better than life itself, and it is life itself at the same time. And I think Punch Drunk Love sums that up. And all these movies are just my favorite. Some of my favorite movies of all time. Fisher King, Brief Encounter, Paris, Texas, Punch Drunk Love. Fantastic movies. My favorite movies from each of the respective directors, even though I still have to explore more of their filmographies. But when I find a movie that is that thematically specific, so stylistically specific, so everything, it's like this is why I love movies, you know. And when I find a movie that I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch this for the rest of my life, which is all the movies in this series, it's like I'm gonna watch this every year, every couple years for the rest of my life, and every time it'll hit me the same and it'll hit me a little different. And that's the coolest feeling. It's the cool feeling yourself grow through watching movies. Like you know, you reflect on your own growth and how you've changed for better or worse. And yeah, I'm thankful we have movies. I don't know what I'd do without them. They're really nice. I like watching movies with somebody. Yeah. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this sleepy series about love and movies. I hope you check out some of these movies. I don't know what's up next, but I'll figure out something. So, yeah. Love you guys. I love movies. I didn't say that at the end of some of these, which has been my catchphrase, but whatever. I love movies. You know that. It's obvious. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.